Bug. We are streaming on YouTube right now. Today we're working on the 3D render challenge from Punisher, and yeah, that's what we're doing. So the goal right now is to try to recreate the rough blocking out of the main shot here. Oh, he said that the music is a bit loud. Oh, okay, let me turn it down. Thank you for the heads up. How's that? Is the music a little bit better now? Sorry about that. Testing out the audio in comparison to the music. Just let me know. Oh no, I really appreciate it, but that always helps a lot to have more ears and more insight into what it's actually sounding like. I don't know otherwise. Just testing that out. Okay, says good. Alright, good. Thanks. Yeah, so I might start streaming onto YouTube again. It's been a while, but it has been something I have considered picking back up again. And yeah, so we'll just see if it's manageable or not. Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely just experimenting again. I won't stop experimenting. There's always something new to learn, right? So I figure I might as well keep trying new things while I can. And some stuff isn't gonna work, and other things are going to work, and I won't know unless I try. So I'm trying YouTube again, just here and there. The other reason too is Instagram was acting a little weird on my end today. It wasn't like letting me So I'm going to copy this cube, move this to the side here. Oh, that's cool, so you can make two cutouts. Same object, Let's flatten this out, make a little lake or something here. Trying to imagine little areas for the water to live in. Oh, do we lose our sphere? That's not good. We need the sphere. That was one of the conditions. Let me grab that sphere and bring it back into here. Okay, there we go. Just keep it doing, Don. You know you got Bug in your back. Thank you so much, Bug. Oh yeah, I'll definitely save. Thanks for reminding me, as always. I'll call this one blocking. Block environment. Okay. Cool. So let's put a placeholder now for some of the stuff that's in the background, which is more riverways things of that sort, and little waterfalls. It's gonna be fun, really fun. Alright, so I'm gonna go to actually I'll keep staying in the cube setup. So I'm gonna make a little riverway now. So what we'll do is grab some of these cube shapes, and I'm gonna push them back a little bit further in space. Are going to be turned into some waterfalls and ledges around those waterfalls. So these kind of like, let's see, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a bunch of steps really. So that'll be the next bit here. So we're just going to switch our camera angles up, and we got this one here. I'm just going to copy it push it around and create different height maximums. And push that one around, change the height. Cool. Let's create these little steps. So just to reiterate, we are blocking out our data right now. And the reason why we're blocking it is it's just going to make life a lot easier when you do this step earlier on in your process. Okay, so we've got a bunch of different cube shapes here. And then let's return back to that camera perspective. Going to kind of rotate them around for our waterfalls. That will look pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. So the next thing, now that I have some rough, placers, markers here, I want to place some like fake rocks. I'm going to use this cube here as like my fake temporary rock. So I'm going to make it a lot thinner and move that rock into the background a bit here, and kind of pretend like it's right, right in the middle of these waterfalls and stuff. So we're going to switch our views, jump out of our camera, and start rock placing. Same idea, just going to place another rock over here. And I kind of like the loose rotation on it, just to change up the angle. We will be eventually fusing a lot of this geometry all together, but for now it's okay to keep it kind of separated a bit. Changing the size, just pretending these are big rocks in our world. They don't look very rock-like yet, but I promise they will. They shall. Okay, so now when we play it back, you kind of see how we're just creating a lot of that environment that's going to help us understand where we can place the details in our scene. I'm going to make this rock uneven and a little bit shorter. Push that into the ground a bit. Cool, I'm going to copy it, slide this one over here, rotate it around, change the height and the thickness, and more of that rotation on it. By changing these little details, we can add a lot more complexity to our piece without us having to spend all the time sculpting all the individual details, because we will be doing that. We will be sculpting details ideally in a program called ZBrush later. But for now, the main focus is just getting our main geometry across here, which is really important. now they're just going to be kind of placeholders before other key elements make their way into the scene. And you see how I have some stuff here very close to us in the foreground? That's an important detail. We want to have stuff in the foreground just so that it really creates a sense of space and scale for our world. It'll be easier for the viewer to perceive what is the scale of this world if we have objects in the foreground that they can lock their eye on. So right now I'm just rotating some of my template rocks. They don't look very rock-like yet, but Pinky promised they will. Extend this one out over here a little bit further so that we don't know how far that world will go. Change that height a bit. This seems to be kind of blocking a lot of the action here. Stuff in the back here. Do a similar thing where we're going to kind of group all of this stuff together, or at least draw like a selection around a lot of those elements. So I'm going to go to a top-down view here. Just draw a box around all that stuff in the background. And with that selected, I'm going to copy it, paste it in place, and slide it around, and also move it around background a bit and rotate it just to create more variation in our foreground and background assets. Okay, let me jump back into the camera here. Cool. I'm just really trying to break up silhouettes and get a better sense of the scale of our environment here. And that's like one of the best ways that I know of to do that is to block things out. And we're being very literal here, like I'm literally using blocks to block things out here, because that helps with thinking in the most minimal ways while you're starting your work. You know, we don't want to get too specific with things at this point because we're still, early concept phase, early everything phase, right? So we don't want to lock ourselves down too much of anything yet. Okay, but that already feels really good for me. We don't really get much of a beach going for us over there, so that might be something we do want to do. So what I'm going to do now is take all of our rocks and things, all this stuff, and I'm going to merge it all together so it becomes a humongous asset, a single asset, minus the sphere. We don't want the sphere to be part of that. The sphere is kind of also a placeholder, really, but where is it? There's the sphere. I'm going to move that with the ground plane. But we'll grab all the other cube objects and then connect everything and delete all their excess. So now it's pretty much just one gigantic object that holds all of the data. Let me just test if that's true. So I deselect, I grab it. Okay, cool. So now everything's just like one piece. Great. So let's return back to that camera. So next thing I want to work on is I do want to give us some space for a potential beach over here. So to have a potential beach in our scene, the main way I'm thinking of doing this is by kind of cutting out a lot of geometry over there in the background. So one of the best ways, of course, to cut out geometry that's this simple is to use another cube as like the cutting into objects. So I'm going to move a cube over here, make it a little bit larger than life. Okay, something like this. And then we're going to run this cube through that same Boolean modifier that lets us cut out one shape from another. There we go. Alright, so now this one cube here is going to be cutting into whatever whatever we push it through, really. So by just going in with this shape here, and I'm going to create a fillet if I can. And also you can play with tilt if you want to add more, more fun. So it's an easy way for me to remove a lot of complexity from part of the image. Glitch right there. Did we accidentally move the camera? Oh goodness. We moved the camera. I thought the camera was not movable. That is bad news. Oh yeah, that's really bad. We shouldn't be able to move the camera like that. Yikes. Okay, I might need to copy over everything. Start again. So, I mean, not start all over from scratch, but what I would do is I'll re-import that FBX file, and then I'll repaste all that geometry. There we go. So we're kind of starting from the same spot. This time I do want to lock the camera so that I can't really move it, but I don't know how to do that. It's not like After Effects where you can just turn it off. So I'm just going to hide the camera, or just jump out of it when we're not using it. And then we still have our ground plane that we have to be concerned with. Looks like all the interesting things are below the ground, so I'm going to grab all of it, and then move it up. There we go. So that looks about right. So if you were to imagine the ground plane isn't made of ground, but rather I'm going to have it be made out of like water, I'll show you what that would look like. Well, we'll do it simply for now. Later we'll get more complex, of course, but for now I'll just make the ground plane blue as to like create the sensation that it's a water in there. So we're just going to go in here and just choose a water color. I'm going to wait for it to update here. You see that color reflected in there, and then we can drag it right onto the ground plane. And now when we're in the camera, we can kind of see the water. It's a little hard to see. So maybe I'll move the ground down a little bit. I don't really see the water, to be honest. There we go. I'm just going to add a light temporarily. That way we can start to see where the water masses would be and where the land masses would be. So that's kind of like the goal there by putting that together. Alright, so with that, I now have more context and more space for the beach scene. So let's work on that next. So what we'll do for the beach is first we're going to take our main cube out here and trim it. Trim this area down. Maybe a lot. Yeah, just because I do want there to be enough space for all the things. So just by doing that, we've created some space. Get rid of that boolean. Awesome. And then we're going to go back in and start creating some details for the beach. So first detail, we'll start off with a cube again. And we'll move the cube into the space where the beach is likely to be. Might change, of course, but for now I have a kind of a vision in mind of where I want the beach to be. So we can just place the beach over here, and that way we'll kind of see a little bit of that yellow sand in a moment. It'll be present there. Let's just do a quick save of our work in case, you know, something crashes for whatever reason, as it does often. Okay. So just to make it simple, we'll go ahead and copy out a yellow material to represent the beach, like a sandy kind of color. Switch out of our camera, and I'm just going to make the beach a little bit longer here, a little bit wider, and we'll basically have that beach go out there. So that way, from our perspective, we'll have a little bit of beach. Yeah, we'll have a little bit of beach before we dive into more rocks and things that are going to go back there. Alright, so there's a beach on this side of the water, and then I'm also going to copy this and put another beach way, way, way over there. So it's like, you know, there's like a ravine. Next, we're going to start sculpting out what would be that first big overhang, like a whatever that is called. I'm going to sculpt it next. So we're going to start off with a cube, and we're going to take that cube and instantly move it up, and then we're going to extract the faces of it. I'm going to go to the top face of this shape here and just extrude it outwards or upwards. Then we're going to take another piece. We're going to take these two pieces actually, and we'll make this a little bit thicker. Then we're going to do a loop cut around the top bit, and from that we'll grab this piece and extrude this one out there, and we'll move that out a little bit further this way. Then we can take the bottoms of it and extrude downwards. Okay, so we have this kind of weird house shape, and we're just going to push this way back over there and try to match the perspective as close as we can to our reference art. So that looks like it's really on the left side of the frame, and it really is much larger. So I'm going to scale this up quite a bit, rotate it, and continue to push it back a bit further. There we go. Alright, so let's take a look now. So we have this kind of big opening over here. Hey, what's up, Till? Welcome. Oh, we got a question from Matthew. It says, did you get the new parts today, Don, for a few days ago? And what I meant was RTX stuff for computer and sort. Great question. So the computer, I ordered it, but it won't be here for another 8 weeks. So I'm still going to be using my current setup, but I will be switching over once it arrives and moving this one as my maybe secondary machine in case of emergencies, and then the other one being like my primary machine Alright, so what we're doing now is we have some of our geometry in here, and now I'm just creating a little bit of asymmetry for fun. And now let's take a look. So we got this kind of walking, our character is now walking, he's doing his thing. Okay, I see a couple of little changes I want to do, like up in here. I'm going to grab a couple faces, moving down, just so we can see things a little bit better. Go to point mode. Welcome in and rest in peace. Oh, thanks. It's okay. I can be patient. You know, 8 weeks, or I guess 2 months. It's not too long for a new computer. It's the best I can do. So I don't really have a choice. If I want a new machine, I gotta be willing for the wait. All right, so I'm just gonna save this out again. Take a look at our scene. Cool, now that's coming along in comparison to my reference art. I think this is definitely on track with the vision that I still currently see in my head. Just studying some stuff. All right, so next I'm gonna do is add a tree. I think I need to be a little bit thinner with the waterfalls. So yeah, let's add this tree that kind of starts the shot off. The tree I'm referencing is this one. It's really just this big sweeping branch that I thought was pretty cool. And there's lots of ways to achieve it. Probably the easiest way in our case will be to use the spline tool. So I'm going to go to a side view of our character, of our scene. I'm going to jump out of our camera so I don't break something, and we'll display this from the left side. And what we'll do to create the tree branch is go into our spline pen tool and just click around for the tree trunk, and then a branch, and then a curvy part, and then another curvy part, and then hit escape. Alright, so that's going to be like this branch shape, and we can go back in and you know, edit stuff about our spline, which is kind of cool too. So I like to use the spline smooth tool, which will do exactly what it sounds like. It will try its best to smooth out a spline curve. And then once you have that spline made, what we're going to do is grab like a hard shape, like a square or a rectangle, and we're going to take this rectangle, I'm going to scale down its radius a little bit, or I guess that's its width and its height. Well, I do want to keep them about the same, so I'll do 123 by 123. And with this rectangle shape, we can use a tool called the sweep, and we can sweep this rectangle along that spline. And now we have a tree trunk. Now it looks like it projected it in this flat way. Oh, great question, Till. Says, is the animation of the character from Mixamo? The character is actually my friend Clinton Jones. So he's actually he's using a Rococo motion capture suit, and he recorded himself pulling on things. So that's actually his body moving. Yeah. And it's given me so many ideas. So I think I might do something similar. I might try to create a render challenge in the near future, and I'll do some motion capture, and then there'll be like a cash prize for the winner. I think that'll be really fun. Okay, so what I just did there is I changed the projection of that rectangle, and we still can control things like its width and its height. So I just made it a little bit thinner. Maybe let's make it about 56 by 56. Next, we can go to our sweep, and we can actually change the scale at the end, so that it actually goes to like a sharper point. And the other thing too is you don't have to use a rectangle. We could use any shape. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and use a circle. You might see it spin out of control like this every once in a while. The fix for it is deleting a previous shape. And there we have it. Now we have this kind of tree trunk. I'm going to reduce that radius, of course. But now we have like a core tree trunk. And if we jump into our camera view, we'll see how similar that is to our starting shot. It looks like the tree's kind of in the way, so I'll actually start the tree back a little bit further away from our main character. So we'll grab this tree geometry. Oh wow, thank you so much, Pug. Saying that it looks great so far, I really appreciate that. Try to work hard on things. And there's no exception with this one. I really want this to be a really good contender in their render challenge. That's part of the reason why I even went through the process of creating the concept art first, spending time just blocking out the scene versus just jumping right in. Usually I just jump right in, but because I do want this to, you know, have a good chance in their challenge, I wanted to put a little bit more love and attention into those details. Alright, so I'm just going to move this tree trunk around. So now we have this tree trunk, and then that makes me want to move this structure so that we can see a little bit more of that opening. Or we can raise the tree trunk up a bit. By moving it closer to us and moving it to the left. Now I want to create some far-off mountains because in this reference here we have these super tall spire-like mountains. They're kind of cool. I may or may not want to do that, but it's a thought. There's also the tree. I do need to make some leaves and stuff. So for now we're just going to create some volumes to put there. When I say volumes, what I mean is like I'm just going to create some spheres, really, and place the spheres in the tree as if it's the right size and stuff. Oh, we got a question from Till Bayer. Says, love your choice of lo-fi music, but your voice is a bit too quiet. Oh, good to know. Let me go to my editing settings, and I will turn down the voice, or the music audio a bit. Testing 1, 2, 3, and then I don't know which audio is being captured, but now the music should be lower and my voice should be a little bit louder, so let me know if that works. It's been a while since I've streamed onto YouTube, so chances are high that I don't have the best audio settings by default here. But just let me know. Okay, it's not letting me move this sphere. Oh, Matthew Convento says we can hear you loud and clear. Oh, thanks, Matt. Huh, weird, I can't move that shape. Uh-oh. Hope we don't crash it. Till says, perfect, thank you. Okay, great. A Stream Deck. Let me save this real quick. File, save. I guess I'm not familiar with what a Stream Deck is. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Alright, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just using the new place modifier tool that lets you place shapes really easily. It's like almost like it's almost like you're placing things in real life. To like the surfaces of objects. It's actually really cool. So I'm just placing these onto the tree, creating our tree look. Again, I'm probably going to go more photorealistic with the end result, but for now, for the blocking phase, I think this is perfectly fine and acceptable. So I have one light in my scene, and it's not like this. It's not the real light I'm going to be using. I just wanted to see a light just for making things a little bit easier for me to read. So I'm just going to continue to move that light around a little bit here, just to play. So, because I'm going to imagine that the main light source is going to be that sphere anyway. So I'm just going to copy the light a couple times there, and then add another light way over here in the distance. Let's maybe put it at a different height. Great, and then I'll copy this one, move this one also in another direction over here. There we go. All right, so I just moved some lights around in our scene. So we'll have an asteroid coming in over there. Oh, thank you so much, Matt. If you can show me later, that would be sweet. All right, so this is the reference art, or the concept art that I made based off of other references. And I'm just trying to get the right idea of scale proportions and whatnot. Yeah, I think we just need to add like our really far off in the distance mountains and stuff. So I think that will be the next phase here. So let's go ahead and make some far off mountains. So we have options. So I'm looking off at these far off mountains here. Yeah, okay, I have an idea. So what I'm going to do is first save the project. As you know, never save enough. And I'm going to jump into our scene here and look at where that sphere is. Look how far away that sphere is in our world. It's really, really, really far away. So I'm going to set our scene to huge, so we should be able to see everything now. And underneath the meteor, I'm going to place a landscape, a very large landscape. Landscapes are a great way to quickly create mountain ranges and other terrain. So I want to keep it kind of flat, but I do want it to be real geometry over there so that we can light it if we see fit later. So let's jump back to our camera's perspective and see what those far off mountains are looking like. Yeah, I might make it a little bit lower here and play with the randomness. So I'm playing with the random seed. That kind of changes how it appears. We can also increase or decrease the width and height segments for more resolution. And we can play with the scale if we want to make them bumpier or smoother. You can also adjust the sea level, which I'm doing right there. Awesome, so now we have some mountains that are far off over there that I think look pretty cool. I'm going to copy this landscape material and slide this over to the side and move it into the floor. With the second landscape material, we're also going to run another seed through it. There we go, just to create, yet again, more randomness off in the distance in the shape of the mountains. Sweet, I love it. Okay, so yeah, this is looking pretty sweet. I'm gonna maybe move our tunnel opening to the right more and make it smaller. So again, this is why we block. We block for this ability to like change our mind, change our, wildly change our mind about the scale and scope of a scene. That's that kind of flexibility is not usually provided if you jump into details right away. So since I want that flexibility, and we have that flexibility, I'm going to take advantage of it. So I'm scaling that down, returning back to the camera, scaling it down a little bit, and moving our object to the side over here, maybe. And then maybe taking these faces on the back side and pushing them out that away. Awesome. So now we have some rock structure over there, and it's just going to be moving on through. I'm going to probably raise it up a little bit, so I'm going to use the poly pen tool because it's kind of a nice way to shape objects when they don't have too many polygons to worry about. You can use it almost like a shaper tool. You can shape things and push and pull on geometry in a myriad of ways. For example, with the same tool, I can go in here and just like adjust things about our model and create nice new forms. Sorry, I just got a little sleepy. I don't know why. I think I had a good night's sleep. Okay, cool. I'm going to save it again and then hit the play button to see what we have. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay. So next thing I want to do is stand up and stretch for a minute. Whoa. Yes, you gotta move your body every once in a while. Otherwise your joints won't be too happy and you'll feel it. Alright, so I think this is looking good. So yeah, the next thing I was thinking of doing was a physics simulation on rope that the character's carrying and tying that rope to an egg that will be that we'll also need to make. Oh, he said don't crack my back too hard. Sorry about that. Let's just check how we're doing here. Oh, I got an email real quick. Let me just double check what that's about. Hi Don, blank blank here from blank. Nice to meet you. Moving so-and-so to the, okay. I'd love to set up a 15-minute meet and greet video call for us to talk about the next steps in the next couple of days. So can I hear more about your experience with the blank 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 and share more about how you could blank together, raise visibility. Let me know if 15 minutes in any of these openings would work for you, all in Pacific Standard Time. Thanks, and looking forward to hearing from you. Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Cool, sweet. Got a new meeting with a great potential client. Let me just choose a date real quick. Sorry, because I'm kind of still, like, I'm doing this live stream in the middle of the day, but I'm also still working. But that's what's fun about being your own boss. You can choose to do your work, or take a break, or do something else. So that's where we're at. I'll respond to that email shortly, though. I want to make the little spires in the background. All right, so I'm going to take the landscape texture, or the landscape object from a moment ago, and go into edit mode. I'm going to copy it. And with this landscape, we're going to move it over here and push it up. And this one is going to have a lot more height. And shrink it down in the other dimensions so that it's more like a spire. And we can play with the randomness of it and the scale, of course, to make it smoother. And yeah, and then maybe play with the height a tiny bit here. Great, so we got that there. Don't forget to eat also. Oh, I did eat this morning. Yes, I went to a coffee shop in the neighborhood here in Los Angeles. So I did eat some dinner, or breakfast, sorry. Oh, Soham Kotak, welcome. Says, did you go to art school or self-learn? Great question. I did go to school, but not for art. All the art stuff I learned mostly through YouTube University. Just straight up YouTube. Yeah, like genuinely, most of it's from YouTube. So thank you, YouTube, for teaching me so much stuff. So much of the technical skills that I learned came from YouTube. So yeah. Much of them. I still recommend school, but not for technical skills. I think school is great for the people that you meet, the networking opportunities. It's great for learning skill sets and getting ideas and exposure to ideas and people that you otherwise wouldn't. So for those reasons, I still think school is important. But if the idea is to go to school to get technical skills in art, it's just not. That's not relevant anymore, because you can learn most of the stuff without them. So just saying, save your money. But yeah, I still recommend school. It's just like I don't think you need to go to it for technical skills when the internet has matured to the point that it is today. The need isn't the same. All right, I'm going to round this little landscape with by adding a greater scale to it. All right, so now it's like a little mound. There we go. I'm just going to push these into the ground here. Copy a couple of them, and of course move them around. Change our random seed. Whoa. Taller on that side there. There we go. So you can kind of see how I build out a 3D environment. See how it's very much, we only care about what the camera sees, which is this kind of green cone It's kind of hard to see with the blue background that I have right now, but you see that green cone here? This green pyramid cone shape is what we're gonna see. Oh, we got a question from Soham Kotak. Says, you are doing this for the Clinton compilation. Yes, yeah, hopefully this is gonna be good enough. Well, we still got a ways to go, but hopefully the end result is at a spot where I'm happy to submit it as a potential option to be featured in his render challenge. That would be sweet. But if not, it's just fun to work on anyway. All right, cool. So just added some objects to kind of break up the environment. Whoa, a bit. Oh, hey, what's up, Jitesh? Welcome. Yeah, trying YouTube for a little bit here. We'll see if this lasts. I do want to give it another chance, because it's true. Like, you only get out what you put into something, and you know, there's no reason. It's clear to me why I haven't gotten much out of YouTube streaming, and it's because I haven't put much into it. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy when I say, oh, well, YouTube doesn't work for the content that I produce or the people I try reaching. But if I just keep on not doing stuff for it, then it shouldn't work. So I'm giving it another shot. I have been really inspired by Clinton Jones, not just for his render challenge, but also just his live streaming at a regular schedule. I'm thinking of doing that as well on YouTube. Like, maybe having it be like where I'll still do, you know, streaming on Instagram, because that's where I'm really comfortable. But I'm thinking, for future reference, I might start doing like at least once a week, you know, a dedicated stream at a specific time that can be expected every week. I haven't really announced this much. I guess right now I'm announcing it. Yeah. I'm announcing it now. It's not for certain, but I'm going to start experimenting, as you can see, like today. All right, so let's go ahead and play this back and just see how we're feeling about the environment. Ignore the bones that are stretching like that. We'll worry about the character probably last. Yeah, I'll probably work on the character at the very, very end here, but for now, the main focus is going to be on concept, getting it all flushed out here. Oh, we got another question coming in from Jitesh. It says, everybody needs to like the stream so that more people see it on their feed. Oh, is that how it works with YouTube? So YouTube, YouTube is a new territory for me, in a sense. I mean, I've been using it for a while, but not using it seriously for a long time. So, oh crap, I just bumped the camera, didn't I? Hopefully that didn't screw up something. Yikes, I wish I could lock this camera down. It's a little frustrating that the camera will not lock down permanently. It keeps being funky. So, I don't know if I screwed up something, so what I'm going to do, unfortunately, is I'm going to copy all this geometry over into a new project again. So if I bump the camera, it will be disqualified from the render challenge, because he only wants shots that are going to have a nice seamless cut between them. And if the camera was bumped, then that's going to be a render that that would be a render that doesn't match the thing. Sorry, I'm struggling to talk. He needs it to have the same camera angles, so I'm gonna re-import this object again and then repaste all my scene. Okay, cool, we're good. But yeah, I need to find a way to lock this because I really don't want to bump the camera. I might Google this right now because this has been an ongoing issue. How to lock a camera in C4D. Lock your camera. Oh, it's a protection tag. Okay, I am familiar with those.
Does it ever happen at a time in Cinema 4D and then you have your camera position that your camera and you zoom over again by selecting the camera object in the hierarchy and applying a rigging tag protection. So what this does is now that the protection tag is applied, you can't really see on your end, but I'm zooming in and out here, I'm trying to orbit around, and it's not letting me move that camera's position. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.
She called it a protection tag. Where is that? I don't think it should be so buried. Alright, cool. Camera is now protected, so we shouldn't be able to bump it anymore. Alright, let me take a look at your questions. Jitesh Singh says that's how the YouTube algorithm works, so that's why YouTubers ask for likes more. Oh, during their streams. Of course, for the clickbait. Alright, well, if you're liking this video, go ahead and spam click that like button, because YouTube algorithms. Oh wow, the protection tag turns off animation. That's not what I want. I still want it to be... Okay, so now it can express itself, but great, I can't zoom in and out. Alright, so that's good. I can leave the camera. Okay, cool. Whew. Alright, so here is our blocked out scene based off of something. And let's take a look at some of the next problems, the next geometry problems that we're going to want to solve. So, one per person. Oh, gotcha. That's fair. That's a good motivator for the future. Alright, so two pretty hard elements that I want to bring, or three, there's a lot of elements in this that I want to bring to this shot to make it really come to life. One of them is I want to have ropes, physically accurate ropes that are pulling two large objects that the person is carrying. So that's going to be the next step. How do we... I'm trying to think of what is the best way to run a rope simulation. I have an idea in my head, so we'll work on that next. Oh yeah, everyone should jump into this challenge. It's really fun. It's a good way to get you, you know, motivated to keep creating, keep experimenting, and making cool stuff happen. So I'm gonna call this rough_layout. Okay, so next thing is I need to make those eggs. So I actually already have an egg that I've made somewhere. Let me see if I can pull that up. So I might just start off with that geometry, and that will save me some time. So there's no harm in saving time here. So let me just jump into an old project. I made these eggs for them. It was for a client, but it hasn't come out yet, so I can't share who the client is. But their eggs had to crack and do all this stuff. The egg that I'm going to bring in is just going to be one that doesn't crack. It's just going to be a piece of geometry, really. So let me just open up the egg. Great, and I'm just going to grab the egg geometry minus all the expressions and fracture simulations. So turning off all that stuff, turn off plane effectors, just want the egg. Cool. Got the egg. Let's bring it back into rough layout. Paste that egg. Sweet. There's the egg. So I sculpted this egg in Cinema 4D using a lathe tool. The lathe is really cool because it lets you create just a single shape, like a single spline, and then it will round that around. Oh yeah, this is the challenge. Yeah, this is Clinton Jones. He created a challenge for the world. The world of VFX artists. Alright, so right now here's, actually you know what, maybe I'll just do one egg. I know in my concept art I had him doing 2 eggs, but it might be fun for like focusing reasons if there's just one egg that they're carrying. One super egg. So we got this one egg here, and first thing we're going to do is turn on physics. So right now the egg is just doing its thing, right? It's just a regular egg. If we hit play, nothing wild is happening. So what I'm going to do first is tie a rope around it. So we'll just do the rope for now using a torus, which is like a donut shape. And I'm going to reduce the pipe radius and then put this around the egg. Okay, and then to make it more rope-like, I'm going to copy it a couple times and do slight tilting and scaling. Okay, so now we have this kind of weird shape. I'm going to make it a little bit larger than the egg. And what we're going to do is just tie this to a boring cylinder for now. We'll make it more exciting if this quick test works. If it doesn't work, then I'll have to, go back a couple times. But we're going to increase the height segments and the rotational segments. And this is going to be like our rope. But let me start off with the egg back a little bit further here. Okay, so we have that, and then we have what's going to be a rope. And what I'm going to do is connect the rope to that thing. Well, we will run a couple of tests right now, so I don't really know if this is going to work, but it's an idea that was in my head. So for right now, I'm going to give the rope almost a rigid body, so it's like almost like a board, like a pole, versus being like a rope. If I can get that to work physically accurately, then we'll work on making it like a rope, rope. Oh, thank you, Real Wilson. Welcome to the stream. I'm making an environment for the first time, having a hard time with the composition. Yeah, well, I recommend doing concept art first. So I made this concept art piece in Procreate, but how I made it's kind of interesting. So I found a bunch of reference images of things online. I started off with my rough concept of a person and the circle shape. Then I found some environments. So I really loved this water environment quite a lot. And then I really liked the water and the cliffside faces. Then I really liked this tree and this kind of lighting environment. And then I kind of merged those two ideas together into this piece. So if you're kind of getting stuck on composition, I would say it's always best to start off with like some beautiful artwork. Start off with something that you trust, some concept artwork. If you want to find a concept artist, you can go on ArtStation. You can look for them on Instagram. You could find them on Pinterest. There's a lot of great resources. And if you have a friend or buddy, you can reach out to them. and see what's going on. Yeah. So there we go. All right, so what we're gonna do is I have this pole here, and the pole is, I'm just gonna group the pole and the toruses together so that these are actually one object. So I'm gonna group them. So I'm gonna just do current state to object, or connect objects and delete. All right, so cool, I'm gonna call this bind. And then we have our egg. So what I'm gonna do first is attach the anchor point of this to the hands. So this is where the bind is going to hopefully rotate from. And so now that our bind is doing that, I'm going to add some physics onto it. So I'm going to go to the floor, or actually, yeah, I'll do the floor here. Or I guess for our test, we'll give the ground collision. So I'm going to go to our tags under the ground and go to our simulation tags, and we're going to add a collider body. This will allow things to collide with it. Great. And if we hit play, nothing happens, which is good. Next, we're going to take this object here, our bind thingy, and I'm going to move it upwards, and I'm going to turn this into a rigid body. So we're going to grab our bind, go to our tags, go to simulation tags, and we'll add this one as a rigid body. Now when we hit play, it's going to collide with the ground. How neat is that? Bam. Okay, it's going to get more interesting. We're going to grab the egg. Go to the egg, go to tags, simulation tags, and add a rigid body. Now it breaks the thingy and it falls over and rolls away. Great. I'm going to need to fix some stuff, clearly. So let me go to my bind here and move it above the egg so that it can actually fall onto it. Okay, so I'm learning some stuff. So you can see how it's currently not passing through the object. It's like stuck right there. So what that is under the dynamics body, sometimes it gets the shape wrong of your object. So I'm going to call this a moving mesh, and oftentimes that fixes it. Okay, cool. So now we have the right data. This now can, like, you know, grab onto our object. So then, good. I'm going to go back to the start. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Awesome. And then now what we can do is we can attach the bind to the hands, or I'll attach it to the spine in this case of my character. So I'm going to go to my character, hips, spine, and then they have all sorts of different spines. I want to do the top vertebrae, so that's spine 3, I think. Or is that neck? No, I guess we want spine 2. So I'm going to attach our bind as a child of spine 2. Now, you ready for this? Oops, I can't move it. Why can't I move it? Let me try that again. What? I can't move it. What happened? Okay, well, now it will try to pull on it. But it looks like the egg is a little bit too heavy. So I might need to lighten the load on the physical object here. So let me start it right around here, and then hit play, and it breaks. Okay, I'm not sure what that's about. Physics is always weird in 3D programs because it gets confused very easily with what shape an object is. So I'm gonna, maybe it doesn't know what this one is. I'm gonna say this one's a static mesh and see if that helps. Nope, didn't help at all. Okay. That sent that thing rocketing into the sky. Let me think about this for a second. How do we get this shape I myself may need to watch a couple of tutorials on good old YouTube University, which is just YouTube, because it's not going to be fun if the rope launches away from the egg. Makes it kind of hard to pull the object. So yeah, I'm not totally sure yet. Alright, so maybe attaching it to the character was the wrong choice. I'm going to leave it out for now. And then what happens if I just pull on this? It's like it's not strong enough to do anything. I don't think I can pull the egg either. Oh, you can. I'm missing something here. So we have an egg. The egg has the ability to move because it's a rigid body. Oh, what did we make this one? I'm gonna delete the bind real quick and then go back to the bind. Go to tags, simulation tags. I'm gonna call this a rigid body. That's a little bit better. And then the egg, I don't know what this one's supposed to be here. Wouldn't the topple rather than get it dragged? Yes, as it currently stands, yeah, it would do that. But right now I'm just trying to run a little physics test that if it passes. Okay, actually that might work now. Okay, so I guess I might need to animate the egg, and we'll have to pretend that it's the bind that's pulling it when it's really going to be the egg that's pulling. So I'm going to grab the egg. Got it. Okay. Weird workaround. What I'm going to do is animate the egg, and I think that might work. So let me just do that for my little test here. So I'm going to start a keyframe on the egg position, and we'll just start it right from there. We'll start it right around here, and then we'll have it just keep moving at a pretty linear speed till about there. Okay, let's try that out. Actually, if we do this, if we do it this way, one thing we might be able to get away with is just adding the physics to just the rope part here. Or we could just manually animate both of these. Okay, so yeah, that's an idea. I'm gonna move the bind down a bit. Whoa, what happened there before? You see that? Okay, that was weird. Okay, I'm gonna grab the bind and move it down a little bit here. And then for the egg, I'm gonna set its acceleration to linear. That way there is no acceleration, it's just a constant speed. Alright, sweet, let's jump back to our camera perspective and take a look. Okay, this actually might work out well. If there is something to check about friction if you want the egg to be moving. Yeah. I do, I'll probably just hand animate the egg, and then we'll apply a dynamic simulation to the rope. And then I think you can attach two ends of a rope with a null object, and I can attach the null object to the back, and the other null object can be attached to the back of the rope. And that way, I think that would do it. I think that would be it. Cool. Well, I think that's about all I wanted to do today. I wanted to get to this spot. We went from our very rough concept art, you know, it's almost like a collage of other artworks, and we kind of built out a lot of the blocking of the geometry. What we'll be doing in the next phase is making the environment actually appear beautiful instead of it looking just blocked and ugly. So what I mean by that is we'll probably bring in all of this geometry that you see here, that's all blocks. I'll bring this into a program like ZBrush, where we'll sculpt out really nice details that like carve out things into the walls and create little bumps and crevices and cracks and mounds of dirt and rocks. We'll probably do that all in ZBrush. The other thing that will be an important thing to test next is running a dynamic simulation on just the rope. But what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of jitter to the egg so that it's as if as it's being pulled, it's causing like disruptions in the ground. Furthermore, I do want to have the egg actually create a texture behind it, so as if it's being dragged through the floor. But I just wanted to do a quick little test. I'll continue the live stream this process, but for now that's it. That's it, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of my return to YouTube, if you will. We got a lot more to go, of course, but that's it for now. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here, and yeah, never stop learning. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. You too. Have a good one.